Morning, church. Harry here, and I'm going to be taking you through this week's Take Fives. And today we're going to be jumping straight into Deuteronomy chapter 6. And this is probably one of my favourite parts of Scripture, one of my favourite prayers too. It's something called the Shema, which covers kind of verse 4 and 5. So I'll share that with you. It says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength." So yeah, like I just said, this is a traditional Jewish prayer called the Shema, and the word Shema really means to listen, but to hear. But it's a doing word at the same time, so it's kind of encapsulates all of those things. But it's a strong prayer, I think, quite simple but strong. And there's a Christian speaker, Christian writer called Tyler Staton, who I found talks about prayer is quite helpful for me in some ways, where he kind of starts it off by talking about that actually a lot of the time prayer is not about us trying to get God's attention, but giving God our attention. So it's that kind of reorientation, I suppose. And I think that this prayer really helps in doing that because it just reminds you of who God is. And I remember Phil was sharing a little bit about that last week as he was taking us through Take Five, and he was kind of sharing about that the Israelites had to remember who God was and like not to forget who He was, and the passage goes on to kind of do that, but it's interesting with this prayer that they found it so important at the time. It says here they were commanded to like impress it on their children, to talk about it when you're sitting at home, and to like tie it around your wrist, and to write it above your door frames. And it is so important, isn't it, that we have to remember all that God has done in our lives and all that He's continuing to do. But also it raises a lot of challenges, doesn't it? It kind of makes you go, well, am I living that? Am I loving God with all my heart, with all my soul, and with all my strength? And the challenge gets even bigger for us, doesn't it? In the context of that time, it was a long time before Jesus came, but when Jesus came, he quotes it when we read in Mark that Jesus quotes the Shema. What is the greatest commandment? It was the question that he got, and he said it's to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. But then he adds to it, so he kind of gives us this double challenge. And the second part that he adds was, that we need to love our neighbour as ourselves. And so you've kind of got those two parts of this prayer now, that actually part of it is about how do we love God, but then Jesus is calling us out to that sacrificial love, to be able to love those around us and love all the people that He's created. And I just, it's just one of my favourite pieces of scripture. So I hope you kind of get that from the way I'm speaking about it too. But later down in the chapter there, it kind of starts talking about, there's a question. It says, like, in the future, when your son asks you, what is the meaning of kind of all the rules, the decrees, the laws that God's kind of commanded us? And it says that, you're to tell him that once we were slaves, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And it then goes on to remind us that, before our eyes, that the Lord has given us the wonders and let us see the signs. And I think that's so true for today, isn't it? We've seen how God works. We see it every Sunday at church. We see it during the week when we catch up with friends from church. We see it in the lives of people that we've been praying for, whether it's healings or, just freedom or just drastic changes. Like, God rocks up. But yet sometimes we kind of forget this simple prayer that is just to remember that He is God, and that everything that we do, that we are supposed to love Him with that and through it. And so I guess my challenge and encouragement at the same time this morning is just, do we love God with all our heart, with all our soul, and with all our strength? Like, in the conversations we have, maybe be thoughtful just for today, just be thinking, how do I demonstrate, like, how do I love God through this conversation I'm having with this person at, supermarket? Or, how do my kids see me, or other children or young people, when I'm out and about? What are the things I'm doing? What are the things I'm looking at? What are the things I'm sharing? Like, does that is that getting God's attention well? And are we demonstrating God's love? Because Jesus has called us then to share that love to others. So yeah, that's my challenge to you this morning. So better wrap it up, but stay blessed, and I'll catch you tomorrow.